New Mexico, the land of enchantment, a land of great culture, art, and mystery. A state that has brought with it one, and I mean one, amazing thing that American Truck Simulator has been desperately needing. And you may ask yourself, what could this possibly be? Well, this one insane, game-changing, magical, sensational, crazy, nonsensical, unbelievable, extravagant, tremendous, mesmerizing, magnificent, voluminous thing is more goddamn sand. Hey, I could not resist that one, alright? Jokes aside here, folks. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. What is going on? It's this sick guy, Conflicts here, reviewing the New Mexico DLC and letting you lovely people know whether it is worth the buy or whether or not to avoid it like the plague. Now, I could tell you this DLC is fine and the game has still no trucks and go off on a casual SCS rant as I usually do and pop off for some tea and crumpets, but that'd be a little bit too easy. For the majority of this review, I'm going to focus just on New Mexico. Now, to do this, I'm going to break this DLC into 3 sections, and I'm going to go with, first, the facts, what we get, what's the meat of this DLC. Gameplay and visuals, what are we actually seeing, what are we doing, what are we getting from this, and then I'm going to give you the final verdict and whether or not to buy or avoid this game. So without further ado, let's get into the facts. So to start off, let us go over what do you actually get with New Mexico. What is the meat of this DLC? Well, for £8.99 or possibly even cheaper if you buy a duo bundle with like a cosmetic DLC that's not in your library for American Truck Simulator, which props to SCS on that one, by the way, you are treated to 4,000 miles of new roads, 15 new cities, hundreds of new 3D assets, new industry and infrastructure, a bunch of new and awesome landmarks that I could show you, but I'd much rather let you enjoy checking them out yourself. I've seen a few myself, they are absolutely awesome. Go and find them. And finally, for my lovely little cherubs who need their achievement fix, there are at least 6 new achievements that you can work to your heart's content to achieve to be the coolest mother trucker on your friends list. All of this jammed into a DLC for $8.99 is a very good bang for your buck DLC. To be quite honest with you, I was expecting a £14.99 price tag on this one, and even at that I would argue that it is worth it, and I'll explain why now in the gameplay and visuals. Okay, so onto the gameplay and visuals. Now I'm going to be honest with you guys, I was ready to go full Y2J and break the walls down on this DLC and absolutely tear it apart as just another sand-ridden, lackluster state that does nothing to help ATS out of its current sorry state. As many of you know, I am very critical of ATS and SCS as a whole. Whether you perceive that as a good thing or a bad thing is your prerogative. But you know what, SCS? You shut me up with this DLC. And I mean, you shut me right up. I do not think I can fault this DLC in many areas. The 15 new cities have a great mixture between rural and urban cities. The new assets like new buses, cars, combine harvesters, new signs, billboards, and even houses and apartments under construction in certain towns, along with a ton of new unique roads and infrastructure that has not ever been seen before in ATS. And finally, all of the dynamic events like road accidents, roadworks, and whatnot that have been brought forward in 1.29 have given New Mexico something ATS and arguably even ETS has never been able to truly achieve before, and that's the feeling that you're driving through a living, breathing world. When you're driving through New Mexico, you're not the focal point of this world, but you're more just a part of it. And this is something no other DLC SCS has put out to date has been able to replicate, and I can tell you firsthand it is quite fantastic. Don't get me wrong, I still think Oregon would have been a better choice for the DLC rather than New Mexico, but damn SCS, I will give credit where it is due. New Mexico is a fantastic work of art that gives players a whole new feeling while driving through this state. I hope this is a prelude to what is to come with the many more states that remain to be completed in this game, because if so, I can honestly say I'm excited about ATS's development again. Now, the only thing I can truly complain about in this DLC, and you may see this as nitpicking, is maybe adding in more unique items to deliver. Not even asking for new trailers, but just adding in the new names for commodities. So, I don't know, maybe sugar or just stuff like that. The new depots basically have some new unique loads. It will mix it up. So I kind of wish that was in there, because as the saying goes, variety is the spice of life. But even at that, that's a minor critique to what I can hands down tell you is the best DLC for ATS so far. But now you've got my opinion on the gameplay and the visuals, let's go ahead and go get the final verdict. Okay, so now for the final verdict on New Mexico. Now I know it is cliche, but I'm going to score this out of 10. But before we do even get to that, let's summarise what we have while adding in the other factors to get my final score. With 4,000 miles of roads, 15 new handcrafted cities and hundreds of new assets, all working together to create a sensational atmosphere of a world revolving around you within New Mexico. And you're just a cog in that machine, but being said, that cog is a fun and entertaining one at that. I can't speak highly enough of SCS's ability to pull this off. It's something quite frankly I've never seen before in ETS2 or ATS, and hats off, it is truly amazing. But sadly, I have to bring back the rest of the game and how sparse it is, particularly in the truck department. Now, I know what you're going to say, and let me stop you right there. I very much understand SCS is walking a legal tightrope filled with complex negotiations and lots of hard work that will take time. Granted. But put that aside for a second. With 2 truck brands to drive this DLC, this is going to fall into the same category as Arizona did of, yeah, this DLC is great for about a month, and then we're all going to flock back to ETS2 purely because of the lack of variety still in this game as a whole. Even when you go to drive out of New Mexico, you feel such a stark contrast between the current and the old areas of the map. Not to mention, most of this game having the same environment of desert roads driving can quite easily become very tedious and repetitive, which pulls me away from the game rather than back into it, and I have to factor these parts into the score, which, without further ado, if New Mexico was standing by itself, it's very easily an 8 or a 9. It's an amazing DLC. But I sadly have to factor in the lack of trucks and general sparseness of the rest of ATS with this DLC as well. And it's because of that at the moment, there's no way I can push this DLC above a 6 out of 10. Sadly, while this DLC is a magnificent piece of art, other areas of the game let this DLC down and will continue to do so until they are rectified. Now you're probably asking yourself, well, should I buy this now that you've given it a 6? Well, if you're a hardcore truck simulation fan wondering if this is the DLC for you, then heck yeah, absolutely pull the trigger. It's a fantastic DLC, and it will guarantee to put more hours underneath your trucking belt and provide you with a lot more entertainment, all the while supporting a hard-working company. However, those of you that are newer to the truck simulation series, or you're thinking about getting into the truck simulation series, is it worth picking it up in a bundle when it's on sale in one of the upcoming sales? Yeah, I'd say if you can get a good deal on it to pick it up. But as a standalone, no, not yet at the moment. Until more trucks and other issues in this game are addressed, I don't think it's right for you to pick it up. But there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is my review on American Truck Simulator's New Mexico DLC. I hope you've enjoyed this review. If you did, make sure to give it a like, subscribe for more awesome content, and check out all of the important links in the description down below. But I'm going to sign off, so thank you everybody for watching. I've been Conflicts, and you have been you. Peace out, guys, and thank you very much for watching.